I'm back from my weekend and I've taken some time to reflect a bit on what's next to do on the project. I've also pushed into beta the widgets, so they're going to be soon into the App Store. And I've also started the work on offline mode. And I'm going to explain what I've done and tell you why it didn't work and why I need to do something else. Basically, what I did was I created a new endpoint into the backend, which is an update bulk method, which you send multiple tasks to this endpoint, and it will check if the remote task inside the database is more recent or not than the edited task, and return a list of conflicted tasks. But this raises an issue, which is first, you might lose track of data and changes. And also, it requires to send a complete object each time, where another solution is better, which I'm going to show you now. As you can see, I've made a small diagram explaining the concept behind the offline mode and how patches works and how I can apply it to basically every part of the project. So you start with a block. Any block is the same. It could be tasks, it could be nodes, it could be habits. Inside this block, you add two fields, which is conflicts and state changes. These changes is basically a list of patches, which is composed of two elements, which is a type and a change, which contain a key to update and the value to put into the field. And these changes, each time you make an edit, a create, or a delete, will be stored locally into the app. And when you get internet access on the next sync, it will be pushed to the backend, which will do the updates, and the app could fetch the new data inside the backend. This concept of patches could be really useful because if you store them inside the database, it could lead to some versioning where you can start with a base object and replay all the changes that has happened with who did it, why, when, stuff like that. And it's pretty good too for next features. I'm going to finish doing the diagram on that, and I'll keep you posted on the rest of the process. I've explained you what models I'm going to use to do the patches. So how does it work? First, you have a user which asks the block to edit a task. This edit action is transformed into a patch, which is stored locally inside the states. This triggers a sync event, which will be taken by the block, and all the patches will be sent to the backend. The backend will check each patch date and the database task date. And if the database object is more recent than the patch, then it's a conflict. So it's returned as a list to the block, which leads to displaying it to the user. And then the user has two choices. First, force apply the patch. So we send the force apply request to the backend, then remove it from the state. Or he just decides to skip the patch and we just remove it from the state. With that, versioning and offline mode is completely functional for each part of the app and each functionality. So that was the goal. It's a pretty great system, and I'm gonna start implementing it now. And it'll maybe take me 1 or 2 days because I have part of the code, but it's from an older version, which doesn't work very well. So I'm going to need to change the code, and the apps should have an offline mode that works pretty well. That's it for the offline mode. I have some other news regarding first the publishing of the task app to the App Store. So widgets are going to be published later this week in 1 or 2 days, and that should allow me to make in-app purchases work inside the task app. I'm also going to submit the note app this week, and it should go as expected since I fix majority of the bug inside the task app and they share the same code base. So I've applied the same fix to the note app. What else happened this weekend? Not very much. It was a bit hot, and it's complicated to stay concentrated and efficient all day. But I'm gonna manage, and that's gonna be all for today. I'm gonna continue working a bit on the offline mode, and I'll see you tomorrow for the implementation, and we'll see if it works or not. Bye.